Politics is all about signals, and the sight of the whole European delegation to the G7 walking together down the narrow streets of Taormina, along with the Canadian Premier, suggested they wanted to act in a coordinated way on things like trade. But of course someone is missing from this picture. The optics, as the Americans put it, of Donald Trump walking alone before joining the group said much about the difficulties of the meeting, as acknowledged by the Europeans, in the gloomiest way.
This will be the most challenging G7 summit in years. It is no secret that leaders who are meeting today sometimes have very different positions on topics such as climate change and trade.
The talks began against the backdrop of Trump's complaints about European NATO funding and claims in the German media that the US president had described German trade policy as very bad. That despite having it explained to him that there is no such thing inside the European Union.
I was making clear that the US cannot compare their trade situation with individual member states of the European Union. The Commission is in charge of dealing with trade issues and not the member states.
Pressure groups were also trying to remind everyone that the Paris Agreement on climate change is threatened by the new US administration.
If leaders like Trump will not respect their obligations, the rest of the G7 must go forward, because we do not have time. We have to phase out fossil fuels and phase in renewables, and we have to do it now.
But what Trump really wanted to talk about was North Korea. He appears closer to Japan than anyone else here. The Italian agenda priority of helping African economies to stop migration does not seem to be on his mind.
We will really be in particular focused on the North Korea problem. It's a big problem, it's a world problem, and it will be solved. At some point it will be solved. You can bet on that.
The optics are clearly important to the Italians as well, who have managed to airbrush refugees and migrants out of the summit entirely. Anybody rescued in the Mediterranean during the summit will not be taken to Sicily, as is usual, but to the Italian mainland instead. The close formation flypast by the Italian fighter pilots demonstrated how impressive it is to see people working on complicated things as a team. This is the first G7 for no fewer than 4 leaders, so it was never going to be easy. But they look totally out of step with each other.